Welcome to the Upshot, Multi-World Disc Golf's podcast about the latest in the disc golf world. I'm the editor, Charlie Eisenhood. Joining me is Josh Mansfield. It is Thursday, June 16th, and we are getting ready for the Match Play Championships in Bailey, Colorado. And we will be breaking that event down in just a little bit. I want to let everybody know we're recording this on Tuesday. That's particularly important because we don't really know at this moment when we're recording exactly what the pools are going to be for this tournament. Calvin posted on Instagram that he is likely to be skipping the event after all because his body is not feeling good. He was not happy with the way that he played or how he was feeling at the Beaver State Fling. So if he drops out, I mean, he's the 1 seed right now. That's going to shake things up. So we'll talk about the pools as they stand as of this moment, which still includes Calvin. He's still registered. And then we will talk about what it might look like if he does not participate. We're recording this on Tuesday because I'm going on vacation. So thank you for bearing with us with a little less information than we typically operate with when we record our preview shows. Josh, how are you?
Can't complain. Life is good. Life's busy, but I think it would be the fans would like to hear one of the segments that we talked about in Discord that'll be upcoming. We can preview here. We've been working with Infinite Discs to bring you bag or bust. So we are going to start reviewing some discs. Probably once a week. Once a week we'll bring you a new disc. We are ordering the discs this week, and so we will be getting ready for some of those reviews coming your way.
Bag or bust. It's a simple concept.
Yeah.
Good disc, bad disc. And so let us know what you think. Like, this is a totally new frontier for us. It's possible we may only end up doing it every other week or something like that. What do you want to hear about from a disc review? What discs do you want us to review? I mean, thanks so much to Infinite Discs. I mean, I don't think there's a better place on the planet to get the rare discs that you're looking for. So we're super excited to be working on this. And, Josh, what's your rating right now?
So I just jumped to 934.
Oh, congrats.
Thank
Moving
you.
Up the board.
Moving up. I'm almost to the advanced line.
So a subscriber just trolled me because my PDGA membership is expired because I haven't played a tournament this year. I came in right around 900 when I played my one tournament last year. And I think I'm playing a little bit better than that now, but that's like I'm a little worse than Josh. I think that's fair. I think that's fair to say. But that should give you some perspective on where we are. We are intermediate players with intermediate distance, and so we'll be bringing reviews from that perspective. There's plenty. If you want to go see the pros throw discs, they can throw the ultra overstable stuff and tell you how great it is. You won't be able to throw it. So hopefully that's useful to hear from low 900s rated players on what they think of discs. And, again, what makes a disc review useful to you? I mean, I can tell you right now, they're going to feel good in the hand. They're going to feel great in the hand.
I'm pretty sure I can put them on any line I want, Charlie.
Any line.
And
they will hold its edge. Straight shooter. You can just point and shoot.
Oh, no. There you go. All the cliches. We
don't even need to do the reviews. Like, you just heard the review of all of the discs. Anyway, I think, we're really going to try to, I'm literally going to be looking for new discs to bag here. And we'll do a lot of comparisons to discs that we already throw because I think that will be more useful than just telling you that it's like an overstable mid-range or whatever. So we're super excited about it. I thought you were going to say something.
I was, and then I thought you weren't done, and so there was an awkward pause. The one thing I was going to add to this from the suggestion of a Discord listener when we previewed this segment about a month ago, they recommended that we keep these discs in our bags for a significant amount of time and not just go throw it in a field, play one round with it, and then let you know. So while we are ordering those discs today, you probably will not hear the first bag or bust for maybe even a month until we get the time to kind of start working with them. Because like Charlie said, I mean, I'm going to be sticking the discs that I'm working with for the review in my bag. I'm going to play with them. I'm going to carry them around. I will use them in competitive rounds, everything. So we're going to be getting our full thoughts on that. And I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm also very excited. It's going to be great. I'd like, again, let us know, upshot@ultiworld.com, what you want to see out of reviews and what discs you want to see us review. So, looking forward to it. Again, this podcast is not going to become about like IPAs and 30 minutes on our favorite discs. There's plenty of podcasts out there that do that, but we're going to focus on pro disc golf and the state of, disc golf as a sport, and media and all the things we tend to do. And our disc review segments are probably going to be pretty tight and focused on letting you know whether you should check out a disc or not. So, it'll evolve as we go through this. But again, big shout out to Infinite Disc for making this happen. All right, so let's move into our first topic today, ratings update day. Here we are. And there is some interesting stuff going on up in the top of the ratings rankings. First and foremost, Kristin Tattar, now solo #1 player in the world. And I am very excited, Josh, because I mean, that matches the eye test, obviously. It matches the results of the season. And she's coming back for Preserve in just over a week's time. So she and Hannah and Evelina and Katie Tate are all coming back. And so we're going to get some more European action on the Disc Golf Pro Tour again very soon. And I cannot wait.
Can't come soon enough. I mean, FPO has been good without them, but when Kristin's here, it's just great. I mean, every week is so good, except when Kristin blows everybody out of the water. I cannot wait for them to come back. And I think it's really noteworthy, as you talked about, not only does it pass the eye test that Kristin Tattar is the highest rated in the world right now, but Paige Pierce has had off weeks. She's had off rounds. And I think that's something that is going to be a storyline that you're going to see at the top of both divisions, is that your top players have digressed a little bit. That Paige dropped a rating point. Katrina's down 2 rating points, down to 972. And both of them really feel like they're playing 2 really good rounds and 1 round that holds them back. And that's the case for, I think, a lot of players.
Gosh, that's just as true on the MPO side. I mean,
it's exactly my point.
Seen regression from a lot of players, and frankly, if I'm being perfectly honest, although we've seen some really, really sharp disc golf from, I thought Double G played particularly well at Beaver State Fling. The level of play at the top of the most recent tournaments has not been as good as we've seen at some earlier events this season. And some of that is eye test, some of that is round rating. Like, I just think that we haven't seen total takeover play, and we've seen players win in the final round despite not playing their best. I mean, I think Simon, played smart golf. Don't get me wrong. He's a tour veteran, but I don't think he necessarily played his absolute best all of the rounds. Like, we've seen some tournaments, like, it was spectacular stuff. Like, if you go back to early in the season, I mean, we saw some incredible performances from Macbeth. Drew Gibson played out of his mind in the final round and the playoff at LVC. I just feel like we're kind of in the middle of the season. People are a little banged up. We've got a bunch of people who are just straight up not playing right now. And as a result, I think, for one, it's opened the door to a little bit more variety up on top of the podium. But I also think that, it's kind of, we're like entering the dog days a little bit. So we'll see what happens. I think everybody's probably ready to go to Europe and enjoy a little vacation time, along with getting ready for major number 2, or in the case of FPO, it'll be number 3, because U.S. Women's is coming up right around the corner, end of the month.
just to compound what you were talking about in terms of level of play, Kristin Tattar, Owen Scoggins, and Valerie Mondahano and Missy Gannon. So Missy Gannon's the bottom of the 960 club. Valerie, Owen, and Kristin are the only three that went up in their ratings. Paige, Katrina, Haley, Evelina, and Henna all went down, and Missy Gannon stayed stagnant. So I think you're right that you're seeing just this kind of mid-season stall. The hard part is that this European vacation, I agree that it's going to be, much needed vacation and rest for the players. But like you said, it comes off of FPO are going to be playing in their major for U.S. Women's Championship after the Preserve. And then the Europe trip is bookended by Idlewild and the Indiglo,
right?
Both of which seem to be at this point going to be highly well and pretty well attended. It's still a grind, and getting ready for a major is not just all roses and relaxation. It's going to be a lot of hard work, and it really feels like Masters Cup kind of gave us a little bit of a break, but a lot of players still played that event, and it feels like there's going to be a breaking point, and we talked about the 17 weeks in a row upcoming, and maybe this is the breaking point this weekend. We'll talk more about that when we get to Match Play Championship. But not only are players not playing well, you have a lot in the MPO side of your top guys who are out due to injury.
I mean, players are being forced to rest right now. They're being forced to rest. Like, yes, Ricky with the knee, but like Calvin is about to, perhaps skip match play because he's just fatigued. And this is why when I hear the tour talk about we need more Elite Series, not less, we want people to pick and choose. I'm like, but like, where is the evidence that players are going to pick and choose? Like they play and they play and they play and they play until they hit the wall and then they don't play. And maybe like with repeated seasons where that happens, more people will, pull a Chris Dickerson and be like, all right, I'm just going to go take 6 weeks off. Peace. Just to note, Valerie Mondahano up 5 points in her rating, now up 965. That puts her in 8th overall, tied with Henna Blomroos at 965. Behind Evelina, Owen, Haley King, Katrina, Paige, and Kristin. Can we just take a moment and acknowledge that Owen Scoggins is tied for 4th in rating in FPO right now? Masters champion Owen Scoggins is tied for 4th in the world. I love it.
She's so cool.
She's so cool. They need to like make some sweet merch. Owen Scoggins merch.
Well, have you seen her leopard 3s?
They are nice.
Incredible.
Yes,
they look incredible.
They look very nice. That is true.
Yeah.
How about on the MPO side? What stands out, Josh?
So over on the MPO side, I think what stands out, the 1050 club is really very literal now. The 2 highest rated players in the world are only 1050, which is lower than we've seen in quite a while. And there's only 2 of them now. Ricky and Eagle are your 2 1050 rated players. Paul has dropped out of the 1050 club and now joins the 1040 club, which is still comprised of the same people, now including Paul. Paul, 1048, Calvin Heimburg, 1046, Chris Dickerson, 1044, and Matty O, 1042.
Now, let me give you this. You know who's next on the list? Number 7 in the world? Gannon Buhr. This kid is playing out of his mind.
He's so good.
He's playing out of his mind. Like, I said it early this season. Like, we need to reevaluate his game and like who he is as a player, and like that's now being reflected in the rating. He's tied with Simon Lizotte for 7th at 1039. So pretty amazing stuff. Isaac Robinson up there in the top 10. 1036, tied with James Conrad and Marvin Tetzel. So how about that? I mean,
That's
he
incredible.
must have jumped. He only jumped 1 point, but like it just goes to show you. I mean, we talked about it. Isaac Robinson is sneaky good. Like he's been sneaky good this year, and obviously capped off by the third place finish at the Portland Open.
So I've got a question for you, Charlie.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about Gannon Buhr's ascension. End of 2020, he was what? 1,000 something rated, like 1,000 single digit thousands, right?
Yeah, he was the end of 2020, he was 1007.
1007. Okay. So
he's gone
from
1007 in about 18 months.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
We saw last season a player with not quite as drastic of a rise, but a significant rise nonetheless. End of 2020 or early 2021, Kyle Klein is 1020 rated. And mid-season last year, or early this season, so March of this year, he hit 1040 rated. And we talked about how big of a deal that was. That,
sure.
He joins the Crush Boys and is up in the 1040s in the 1040 club. And we have seen Kyle Klein regress. Granted, his rating is still 1037. I mean, his rating has not regressed significantly, but his play did. And, when he became and used to be a threat on tour, I don't think we would put Kyle Klein on the podium without some very drastic changes in his performance to the season. So my question then is, do you think that is a problem that we could see from Gannon Buhr? Or do you have an explainer that you think is a reason that Gannon Buhr is going to be resistant to that regression that Kyle Klein, Kevin Jones even, has suffered this season?
I will say that I think it could happen to Gannon just the same. It's not it people who play skill sports go through periods of strong play and poor play. It's part of the game. It happens to tennis players. It happens to golfers. I mean, it really happens to all athletes. It just tends to be magnified more, I think, in tournament-based skill sports. Like basketball players get cold too. I mean, you'll see Steph Curry, greatest shooter on the history of the game, go ice cold for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Happened to Klay Thompson. Draymond Green is in the midst of just an absolutely atrocious shooting slump, even by his standards, which aren't that high.
One side note, the Charles Barkley, Draymond Green feud right now, incredible. If you haven't read any of it, go look it up. And long story short, Charles Barkley calls Draymond Green the least important member of a boy band, where he feels like the crowd is cheering for you, but really no one would notice if you weren't even there.
The thing that's wrong about that is that even with Draymond shooting so bad right now, his ability to impact the game in other ways is the reason the Warriors are up in this series 3-2. I'm not exaggerating. Like, it's the passing, it's the defense, it's the rebounding, it's the ability to create offense for the other players on the team that do shoot the ball well. And take him, when he was out earlier this season, they sucked. So I disagree with Chuck is what I'm saying. But it's a great
fair.
feud. It's a great feud.
It's a great
because
great
Draymond's a future inside the NBA analyst. He's got all of the tools to be that guy. Next Chuck.
That's what he said.
So anyway, I think a slump will come for Gannon Buhr. I think a slump will come. I think it's hard to know how long those things last. What's Kyle Klein been up to lately? He's started to find a little bit more of a rhythm, I think. He was finishing 25th, 27th a bunch at the beginning of the season. And now he's 17th at Portland Open, 19th at OTB. I mean, is this the level of quality that we expected from Kyle Klein this season? No, I think he's clearly playing below what we saw from him last year, and it's being reflected in a slight dip in his rating. Mm-hmm. I think there's more competition on tour. That's part of it. But I also think that, he's just not playing as well. Simple as that. And it's hard to always pinpoint exactly what the problems are. It can be mental. And I think that, Gannon Buhr is, like everyone else, going to have to adjust to living on the road. And, he's still a teenager. It's hard to make that transition. And we'll see how he handles it. But I mean, it's impossible for me to predict one way or the other. I think that we've seen that he has extremely high ceiling and could be a future great, but that doesn't mean he's not going to go through a slump. I mean, Paul McBeth's in a slump right now.
That's true.
And he's the greatest player ever to play the game.
Yep.
So
that is fair.
Anyway,
one other thing that stands out to me, tied with Gannon Buhr up at 7th, is Simon Lizotte, who in 2 months has jumped from 1030 to 1039.
Welcome back, Simon. Well, I mean, part of it is that he doesn't have as many rounds.
It's true.
So, like, when he plays well for a couple of these events, he's going from having 30 rounds used in April to having 43 rounds used in June. And those 13 additional rounds, so those were all pretty darn good. So that's going to bring his rating up quickly. But I mean, I think that reflects his current level of play. I mean, he's definitely up at that level right now. So, it's very interesting though to see the changes right now, and I'm looking forward to the next stage of the tour as we kind of get ready to come out of this West Coast swing and head over to the Midwest. And looking forward to seeing what the Preserve brings us in just over a week. So let's move on now to a little quick purse watch on the Beaver State Fling. So here is what you need to know. Coming in at a total purse of $34,335. That is right around what we've seen from Silver Series for the rest of the season. Just $20 less than Belton, a little above Music City Open, a little below Masters Cup. $2,500 to the MPO winner, $2,000 to the FPO winner. And that's down 1% from the purse in 2019 because we can't compare it to the tournament that didn't happen in 2021 or 2020. So, pretty standard stuff here. I'm not sure there's much to see. I think it's maybe slightly concerning that the tournament is seeing a dip in its purse compared to 2019, but in 2019 it was a national tour event. It shows you where the standards have come, that now this is a average payout for the Silver Series. Portland Open last week, $85,000 purse, more than double Beaver State.
Yeah, it's I agree. Not a lot to that. So welcome to the Silver Series, Beaver State Fling.
Welcome to Silver Series. All right, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, we're talking Match Play Championships. Get you ready for the event coming up in Bailey, Colorado. You're listening to The Upshot. The Upshot is presented by Pound Disc Golf, makers of the best bags in the sport. Now, I know you're probably tired of hearing me talk about the Rufus, but it's just about time. Pre-orders, final pricing coming very soon. Head over to Pound Disc Golf's Facebook page. It's just facebook.com/Pound Disc Golf, and check out the latest video where Pound owner Levi Hancock takes you through all of the changes to the prototypes in this Rufus. It will be available very soon, so keep your eyes posted to PoundDiscGolf.com. Welcome back to The Upshot. The Match Play Championships are this weekend in Bailey, Colorado. Top 16 players on the Disc Golf Pro Tour following the OTB Open were invited. Not everybody's coming from that top 16, so invites extended down the list. And we will, by the time this show comes out, presumably have a final and clear picture of what registration is. As of this recording, we think Calvin Heimburg won't be playing after all, but we don't know for sure. He's still on the registration list, and he said in his Instagram post that there's a slight chance that he'll play. So remains to be seen. As of this moment, we also don't know what the payouts are going to be. Last year, $10,000 went to both the winners in MPO and FPO. Some need-to-know facts for you. Bailey, Colorado, 7,700 feet tucked in the Rockies to the west of Denver. And on the very popular Bailey Disc Golf course, maybe the most highly regarded course in Colorado, 4.8 stars on UDisc. And, whatever the layup or the layout ends up being, Josh, I don't even necessarily know that we need to have the specific and talk about the landing zone and talk about the blah, blah, blah. No, look, this is mountain disc golf. There's going to be tight fairway in the woods. There's going to be big open bomber shots where people are throwing 1,000 feet downhill. And if you've ever played a mountain course, I think you know what you're going to get. A lot of people talk about how physical this course is. And that's going to be something to keep in mind because, being physically prepared to go up and down the mountain for 3 days, playing multiple rounds of match play, it's going to be physically and mentally taxing. And I honestly wonder if that's why we've seen as many players drop as we have. We talked about the kind of just the logistical flow, having to dip down to Colorado before going to Minnesota. Not ideal. Whereas you could just drive straight across from Portland to Minneapolis. But I also think that just it may not be worth it for players who are thinking about, well, I need to be ready to go for the majors. I don't want to go put my body through the ringer at 8,000 feet.
My courses are not at all they're not that high of elevation. But when I was on vacation over Christmas break in California and was playing 2 to 3 rounds a day at sea level, I'd play 2 or 3 rounds and then we'd go out and do stuff with the family afterwards. And I felt great. I mean, no problems whatsoever. It is a whole different style of golf when you are hiking up and down a mountain and, you're carrying just tons and tons of water because it's extremely hot and you're going to need water for that trek. And when you're doing multiple day tournaments, you wake up the next day and you're just already exhausted and you still have another 2 rounds to play. It's a whole nother style of golf. And I could very well see why players who are beat up and physically exhausted would not want to go play this course and play at this elevation and play this many rounds and this many holes over the course of 3 days.
But I am excited to watch them try. There are scattered thunderstorms in the forecast, so that could affect competition this weekend as well. I mean, that's pretty typical. Summertime in the Southwest in the mountains, you're going to have storms roll in. You don't really know exactly when, but in the afternoon, there's often going to be thunderstorms. So we'll see if that ends up having an impact on competition or not. And so different this year, as we mentioned when we talked about the initial pools, they're playing pool play, not just a straight bracket. So there's 4 pools of 4. Each competitor plays against the other 3 competitors in the pool in a 12-hole match. And then they will, you'll get your record, and then one player will advance out of the pools to semifinals. So if you lose your first match, you're not down and out. You can go out there and end up going 2-1 in the pool. And if that could mean you get through. Depends on the results in the other matchups, of course. So we will try to break that down for you right now. So Josh, we talked about the initial pools. Mm-hmm. But I also want to talk about what is likely to happen if Calvin doesn't play. And that would yield the following pools in MPO. I think. we slid everybody up a spot. Mm-hmm. And so you end up with these pools. Pool A is Gannon Buhr, Mason Ford, Ezra Aderhold, and then whoever fills Calvin's spot. Next up on the registration or the invite list is Bradley Williams, then Lowry Lettinen, and then Brody Smith. And if all 3 of those guys decline, it would go to Double G. Pool B is James Conrad, Aaron Gossage, Kyle Klein, and Anthony Barella. Pool C is Joel Freeman, Simon Lizotte, Luke Humphreys, and Jeremy Colling. And Pool D would be Kevin Jones, Nicola Castro, Chandler Fry, and Alden Harris. So that's your MPO pools. I feel like it's kind of hard to go in and individually pick out matchups and try to individually decide who's going to win which matchup. But who do you like in each of the pools in this Calvin-less world?
So I think, Charlie, when we talk about this, we could easily do picks, and we can so here's my proposal. Every pool winner is worth 1 point.
Okay.
Every finalist, so that that'll bring our 4. That'll come down to 2. Finalists are worth 3 points.
Okay.
You pick the winner, you get 5.
I love it. Let's do it.
Okay. All right.
So obviously we're going to have a little bit of leeway because of potential drops and things. But yeah, go ahead. Who do you take in each of these pools?
All right. So I'll start in Pool A. I'm taking Gannon Buhr. I just feel like you'd be wild not to take him right now. So
Ezra's got a real chance.
I think you're right, but I mean Gannon's got the distance too, though.
I mean, I hear you.
Are you taking Ezra?
I'm not sure. It's not my time to make picks yet.
All right. So I'm gonna take Gannon Buhr from Pool 1. I'm gonna take Anthony Barella for Pool 2.
Wow, the bottom seed in the pool, the 15 overall seed.
That's my Cinderella. I'm taking Simon in Pool 3. I don't like anything in Pool 4.
That's a crazy one. That's Kevin Jones, Nicola Castro, Chandler Fry, Alden Harris.
I'll take Nico.
Okay. For me, in Pool A, no, I'm going to take Gannon Buhr. I mean, I do think Ezra Aderhold has a chance, but I'm going to take the player who's just been consistently really good all season. And
what if Double G gets in that pool? Could you
that would be wild. That would be wild. That would be a great deal of fun.
Yeah.
In Pool 2, you took Barella. Look, I'm going to take Aaron Gossage.
I like
this
it.
dude is from Colorado. He knows what it's like to play at altitude. He's played this course.
Mm-hmm.
That's an advantage. That's a real advantage. His red blood cells might be better built because he's lived in Colorado for many years. Pool C, man. Do I really want to trust Joel Freeman in a match play setting? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think Simon is the obvious favorite, and I'm going to take him here.
Okay.
And then in Pool 4, give me Kevin Jones. I really like his game in match play settings. I think he's up for the challenge. And I also think that he's, it's going to come down to him versus Nico, right? Although, I don't know. Emerson Keith beat Ricky last year in round 1.
Right.
Don't assume anything about match play.
No. Assume nothing.
So again, these are our probable pools, assuming Calvin doesn't play. It's the best we got right now, folks.
The nice thing about pool play is we still could be like 2 or 3 correct.
That's right.
Even if our pools completely get shuffled. So that'll work.
We're gonna roll with it. We're gonna roll with it.
That's right. Assuming this is the case, and that they then pair based on seeding, which I would assume they do, right?
Yes, I would think that A will play D and B will play C.
Right.
Have to assume that's what will happen.
So you're going off of?
I don't think they'll reseed. I think they'll do it off the pools. I mean, that's how it would normally work in a World Cup type competition or something like that.
Got it. Okay. All right.
It would be you would have Buhr versus Nico and Barella versus Lizotte, and I would have Buhr versus Jones and Gossage versus Lizotte.
Okay. This might be boring. I'm gonna take Buhr and Lizotte.
That would be a really fun final.
It would be a fun final. So that's who I'm taking at my semis to win the finals.
I'm
Who are you
taking
taking,
Jones
Charlie?
and Lizotte. KJ USA gets the upset over Gannon Buhr.
Okay. And then for your winner, who do you got?
I'm going with Simon.
Yeah,
I think
too.
I like his odds here. I really like his odds here, and the way he's been playing. It's a Discmania sponsored event, so there's like a little bit of extra bonus there for him. I don't know. I feel like you picked Simon, like boldly picked Simon after he won at OTB, and you were right. So now I'm going to just roll with that.
You know what? I'm calling an audible. I want Burr. I want Gannon to win it here.
Okay. Wow.
Which taking the 1 seed is never a good idea in any bracket. I feel there's always got to be upset. But here's my explanation why Simon didn't even want to come to this event. Right? Like he told us in the interview, he's like, I'm gonna ask Discmania if I can just skip it. I know he's going to compete.
No. Eagle's not here. Get your ass to this tournament.
So there's something about walking into a tournament that you didn't want to be at. And especially where it's match play and in the mountains, I could see Simon deciding to go old Simon and just throw in the craziest stuff because it's fun. So yeah, I'm gonna take it.
I got an over under for you.
Okay.
Payout for the winners over under 11,500.
Under. I under. I think if it was more money, that you'd be getting more people.
Interesting.
I really think it's going to stay at 10,000.
They can't go lower, right? That's not. Jeff Spring never ever wants to have those kind of optics of like. I mean, but should this event be giving out a $10,000 prize to the winner?
Well,
I mean, look at the lineup.
Yeah.
We're going to have the top 3 players in the Disc Golf Pro Tour standings in both divisions not playing. So we haven't, when we recorded this, we did not know the payout. So you're sticking with the under. Yeah. I mean, I think it's fair. I honestly considered setting it 9,500, but I think that you're right that the most likely outcome here is a return to 10,000.
Whatever number you had picked, I was going to pick whatever got me the 10,000
right.
mark. If you said 10,001, I probably would still take the.
Like Price is Right.
So, do we want to do some FPO picks then?
We sure should. Let's go. So, as far as we know, the pools will remain the same.
Yep.
So, give them to us, Josh.
Okay. So, for these pools, Pool A, Valerie Mondahano, Emily Beach, Maria Oliva, and Vanessa Van Dyken. Pool B, Missy Gannon, Alexis Mondahano, Holland Hanley, and Rebecca Cox. Pool C is Kat Murch, Owen Scoggins, Lisa Fakis, and Haley King. That pool is just unreal.
That's incredible. That's going to be wild. You have like multiple semifinalist level players in that pool.
Well, and Pool D is also going to cannibalize itself on distance. Ella Hansen, Sarah Hokum, not quite as much, but Natalie Ryan and Jennifer Allen.
Wow. That's going to be fun. Which of the big arms wins it? It's going to be Hokum.
Yeah.
Sniping with the forehands.
About Bailey. Hokum plays in Idaho.
So, sorry, B again was Gannon, Alexis Mondahano,
Holland Hanley,
and
Rebecca Cox.
Okay. Yeah. There we go. All right. Well, I'll go first this time.
Okay.
I got to take Valerie Mondahano. I'm sorry. I'm just playing the odds here, folks. She's playing awesome, and I don't really think this pool is particularly strong. That's the benefit of being the 1 seed.
Yep.
Pool B, I'm going to go with... I actually think this one's kind of interesting. Missy played so well here last year in this tournament, so I'm going to take Missy. I think Holland Hanley has a real chance to win. Pool C. The trap pick is Haley. It's trap. It's trap. I'm taking Owen Scoggins. Putting. Hello.
Hello.
Pool D. God. This is impossible, I feel like. I am going to take Natalie Ryan. Who you got?
That pick a lot. All right. Pool A. Give me Valerie.
Okay.
Shocking. I know. Pool B. I do want Holland Handley, actually.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I know Missy played well, but I think this course is going to set up better for Holland. Pool C.
Merch Scoggins, fake is king.
Yeah. That pool is such a nightmare. Could you imagine if I was one of those 3 or 4 and saw the draw and be like, nope, thanks.
I'm good.
I'll see you later.
I'm going to skip it.
Give me Cat Merch.
Cat Merch?
Yeah,
Okay.
Cat Merch is still playing really well. Pool D, man, putting's important.
Not a lot of strong putters in that group.
No, not hardly at all. I just wish I knew more about the course. Give me. I'm gonna go veteran. Give me Jen Allen.
Yeah, I thought about
That's
it.
my Cinderella on the FPO.
I thought about it too. I mean, but when she's not putting well, she's really not putting well. So you got to hope she has an up weekend. Okay, who you got for your finalists? It's going to be Valerie Mondahano versus Jen Allen, Holland Handley versus Cat Merch.
When you said it's going to be Valerie, I thought you were telling me that I was going to pick Valerie Mondahano. You were right. I'm going to pick Valerie Mondahano. Yeah, give me Cat Merch. I'll take Cat Merch to go to finals.
Fun.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go with Valerie Mondahano and Missy Gannon versus Owen Scoggins.
You just like put a mirror in front of these two and put them against each other.
Very interesting. I think I'm going to take Missy. I think that the distance advantage will be enough. So, all right. I've got Mondahano versus Gannon. You've got Mondahano versus Merch. Who you got?
I'll take Merch. I can't pick 2 1 seeds. I won't be that guy.
I'm taking Gannon.
Ooh. Oh. Now we're both sleeping on Valerie. We're going to look so silly if she wins.
Look, she could definitely win.
Yeah.
Missy almost did it last year. And I don't see why she couldn't do it here. Like,
yeah.
What's her current form like? I feel like I haven't seen her that much, but she's been playing pretty well. 6th at OTB, 4th at Portland.
We said exactly what was going to happen to Missy at the beginning of this season, that she was going to continue to play at the exact same level, and you were going to have a lot of other FPO women who were going to play better and just bump her down a little bit.
And that's basically what's happened.
Yeah.
More like, especially early in the season, 7th and 8th type place finishes, because Kristin and obviously the emergence of Valerie Mondahano. Well, anyway, should be a fun and interesting event, regardless of the actual straight up lineups. Do you like the move to pool play away from straight bracket?
I actually do. It's funny. So I know I saw Ella Hansen tweet when they posted this bracket that she's super familiar with pool play, because my understanding is it's pretty popular for Ultimate.
Almost every tournament has pool play. Yes. Okay.
So you've got Ultimate. A lot of esports tournaments are done via pool play as well. And I really like it because I think that it adds increased drama when you build in the pools, as opposed to matchups that, or especially early, have no drama. Pools usually guarantee that there's at least 1 or 2 interesting pools that are really worth watching and keeping an eye on, and creates matchups that make early rounds, I think, really significant. And I don't know. It's really hard to predict individual upsets. And so when you look at just a bracket, I mean, if I was just staring at a bracket of this, it'd be really easy for me to look at this and say, oh, I'm not going to watch that one, not going to watch that one. But as you mentioned, in FPO, for example, 3 of the 4 pools all were very interesting and have a lot of compelling, get a lot of compelling all around dynamics. The bottom pool, for example, of Ella Hansen, Sarah Hokum, Natalie Ryan, and Jennifer Allen, on its own or in individual matchups, may not create the most compelling golf every time. But it's the fact that 3 of the 4 of them are built in and are long throwers that all happen to get grouped into the pool. And I think part of it is just our inherent, especially in sports, but in everything, desire to look for patterns, to look for commonalities in things, and to see storylines even where they don't necessarily exist. Pool play allows you to write storylines in a way that I find a lot more compelling and can draw through into later rounds. And those storylines carry, which makes me really appreciate pool play for tournaments.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, I think that there were definitely some matchups that felt pretty lopsided last year. But I will say that some of the ones that we sort of people would chalk up a certain way, like Ricky versus Emerson, didn't go as expected. And I think that can be interesting.
That's true.
I'll be curious to see how they handle broadcasting this event, because that will be a challenge potentially. You got a lot of matches going on simultaneously, and then you have that for multiple rounds, right? As opposed to straight bracket where half the field is out and then it gets a little simpler from there on out. So we'll see how it all goes. This is definitely feeling like more of an exhibition type event to me than like a truly competitive event. And that's just if the top 16 players were all going to be there, except for the people who are injured, I might feel differently about it. But now it's like, okay, we're going to like showcase some like good disc golf in Colorado, and like, that'll be cool. But I definitely feel like some of the shine has been taken off this tournament.
I'm pretty sure MPO is top 16 minus injured.
Yeah. Gosh.
Right.
State of the MPO division right now, huh?
Yeah, it really is. I really, really want a sponsor to come forward and pony up $50,000 for the winner on each side. And Kristin Tattar would be like, changing my flight. I will be there a week early. I'm going to be at that event. That would make for a really, really exciting event. I'm pretty sure Jeff Spring, if he hears this, is going to go, yeah, I'd love $50,000 for the winners too. If any sponsors want to call me, I'll take you. So welcome to the world. But it'll still be fun. It'll be entertaining.
It'll be fun. It'll be entertaining. I totally agree.
Yeah.
So looking forward to seeing how it plays out. Very excited to have mountain disc golf. We'll see what it looks like. And I'm going to continue to advocate for an elite series stop in the mountains. But let's see how it goes. That is going to do it for today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Enjoy the Match Play Championships, everybody. We'll be back next week. I think Josh is going to be holding it down on Tuesday, as I will still be on vacation, but I'll be back for the Thursday show as we get ready for the Preserve. And if anybody has tips for what to do in Utah while I am out there, mostly at the national parks, please let me know. Upshot at ultiworld.com. Thanks so much, and we will talk to you next week right here on The Upshot.